about all you soft little cupcakes who are like, oh my god, I gotta go self-deport. Or not self-deport. Oh my god, I'm gonna leave the US because Trump won the presidency, like that bitch Rosie O'Donnell. Good, bitch. We're happy you left, Rosie O'Donnell, because it's motherfuckers like you that are fucking this country up. And any person that agrees that left like Rosie O'Donnell, anyone that agrees with that, y'all need to leave too. Why do y'all need to leave? Because you're fucking our country up, you're fucking up the USA, you're fucking up America, you're uneducated, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about half the time. Alright, now this is supposed to be a live video, in case you missed it when it was live. So I'm gonna pause for a minute and, ooh, that's badass, the 3D printer video I made. Oh wow, that is so freaking cool. That's crazy how them 3D printers work. I was just waiting for some people to come on since we're already live. But I already pretty much said what this video is about. So now this video is just going to turn into whatever random shit we see. Plus what this video is still supposed to be about. There's the state boys. I don't know if you saw. Oh, there's a tow truck. They must have had an accident. Or they got caught driving without a license. Option A or B. Pontiac G6. I didn't know those were V6s. I thought those were 4 cylinders. I wish, hey, Government Motors, Trump, can you tell them people at Chevy to bring back like a futuristic 71 Chevelle and make it in the option of a 2-door and a 4-door, but like futuristic, kind of like how they did with the 69 Camaro. And also, if any of Trump's people see this and made it past that first part of what the video's about and then the few minute pause, can you also tell them to bring back the Camaro and make it the 7th gen, but make the 7th gen look like a futuristic version of the 3rd gen Camaro. Like, that'd be so badass, like, if GM did that, and did that with the... We already got a futuristic version of, like, all them first body styles. All those 1st gen Camaros, the 69 to whatever year they stopped that body style in. I think it was, like, 1978, or maybe, like... Yeah, like... And then you had the 2nd gens from, like, 1978 to 1992. Then you had the 3rd gens from 93 to 2000, maybe? I don't know when they stopped making the 3rd gen. And then you had the 6th gens from 2010 or 2009 to 2015. And then you had the 6th gens from 26. The 6th gens would have been from 2016 to 2024, possibly. I think 2024 is when they stopped making the 6th gen. So since Chevy killed off the badass Camaro again, and they probably, I don't blame them. Oh, it's probably Biden that called that action. If it wasn't Joe Biden that called that action, it was because of that forced electric car mandate that Joe Biden wanted to make us all do. So have them, if anyone Trump's team watches this, since we kind of own GM now, I think, because we gave them the bailout, tell them to bring back a futuristic version of the 70 to the 72 Chevelle, and bring back the Camaro as bring back the Camaro as like a futuristic looking version of the 3rd gen Camaro. I'm glad Trump got it. Now if those green pea motherfuckers would back the fuck off our pipeline and let those workers finish it, that'd be awfully nice. But yeah, Government Motors, or President Trump, can you tell him to bring back those 2 body styles of cars? But like as a modern day one with no electric. I don't want an electric version of it. What Dodge did with that fake ass Gap, whatever the fuck you call it, the Dodge whatever, that's like gay as hell and it's got a speaker that to sound like an exhaust, like that is so stupid. Why the fuck do you need a speaker to make an exhaust noise? Like the purpose of an exhaust noise isn't to have it as a speaker. Like, that is stupid, Dodge. Like, that's the stupidest car you could have made. Putting a speaker to make an electric car. If anything, how about like you amp up like the electric motor sound or something? Like, amplify that. Oh, I know why they didn't. Oh, hey, the flags are at half-mast for some reason. Oh, what? Maybe a killing in Gaza? I don't know. Who knows why they're at half-mast? I'm sure it has something to do with some foreign war. I don't know. Does anybody know what happened today? Why the flags are at half-mast? Comment if you do. I'm curious. I'll read the comments at the end of the video like I always do. We're on our way to go scope out the Marine base again. And then after that, we're going to go scope out. I'm sick still, so I'm just going to do it from the warmth of where I'm sitting. It's 47 out. It ain't even that cold, but to me it feels like it's freezing. Maybe I got the COVID. Ooh, it's so scary. I don't know. I did have high fever on Saturday. It was probably like 100. Let's see what there is here. No, that there's stupid radio. Ah, it's a short, but it'll do.
What's your password? It's Crooked Hillary Sucks Big Balls 47. Great, I'm in. I'm trying to find out where the attack's coming from. Dang it, they're masking their IP address. I'll have to consult X's most powerful employee. Charles, I need you to track down whoever's hacking into
Professor
X.
X.
No problem, Elon. I will use my mind powers to locate them. Oh, that's it. Oh, I think I've got them. Wait. Logan, come help me rub my temples. Locating. Oh, there they are. Do you want me to teleport you to the location? That would be great, Charles. All right.
Charles Xavier.
It's happening.
It's Wolverine. Wolverine snuck up behind him.
Where am I? Is this the Anonymous headquarters? Congratulations, Elon. You figured out that I'm behind the X attacks. I guess now I'm supposed to explain to you why. It's because you defunded his game.
They had, I forgot that guy's name. They had him walk in with a jigsaw face on.
Chicken fighting training camp in Afghanistan. Shut up, Maxine. You see, I was using the money delegated to my gay chicken fighting initiative to buy a yacht. I suppose I understand. Now that I know you're behind this, will you stop? No. Now, thanks to you, I have to pay for it without taxpayer dollars. What's your password? It's Crooked Hillary Sucks Big...
I saw that. Something new. So if anyone on this watching right now that maybe some people have tuned in, tell me, what are you so afraid of with Trump being president? Like, he wants to make it so if you're making under $150,000 a year, you don't got to pay property, you don't got to pay taxes. He wants to get rid of, not only that, he wants to eliminate, and this isn't for the rich, this is for the poor, he wants to eliminate property taxes. Why the fuck would anybody want to be mad about that? Why? Like, it just baffles my mind. Why do you want to pay property tax? And even if you rent, you're still paying for that property tax. I guarantee you, if they got rid of all the property taxes for residentials, including like apartments, I guarantee if they got, and if it had a commercial on the first floor, obviously that would still get property tax, maybe. I don't know if I know it included, I didn't read too much into it. And Project 25 isn't a bad thing. Like, I don't know why anyone's freaking out about Project 25. It's not bad, it's good. It wants to stop the legal flow of immigrants entering the country. One of the things of Project 25 is, it wants to, what's the other thing? It wants to, what do you call it? Besides bringing in the illegal, stopping that. Oh, it wants to stop U.S. aid, which is, in case you don't know what U.S. aid is, it sounds great, U.S. aid, it sounds good. Like, it tricked my lady at first before I explained to her, no, U.S. aid is not good, it's a bad thing. She's like, why do you want to stop U.S. aid? I'm trying to do a girl's voice. She's like, why do you want to stop U.S. aid? That's bad, stopping USA. I'm like, do you know what USAID is? She's like, what did she say? I forgot what she said, but she's like, yeah, isn't it helping Americans? I'm like, no, that's not what USAID is. And then I explained to her, and then I was like, okay, you still don't believe me? I'll look it up. This is what USAID is. And then I read it off, and it said exactly what I thought it was. USAID is not helping for USAID. It's giving money, our tax money, to other countries, including even if you don't pay taxes, you're still paying taxes on the fucking, everyone pays taxes, but you're still paying taxes on the shit you buy. You go to the grocery store, you're paying taxes on all that. That should be more than enough for the government to be self-sufficient. And the reason that some of these other countries don't have property taxes is because they, before Trump ever did it, they've been fucking tariffing the fuck out of us, as they, in those countries, don't have to pay property taxes because they've been tariffing the fuck out of the United States, other countries. We got any of them people afraid of Trump on? I'm looking at the comments. Animation Lover 1988. MK. Okay, I don't know what MK means. If you want to elaborate. 420 Fernandez. I live off taxpayers. I already know what you're about to say. I live off the taxpayers. The more taxes, the better for me. Are you a migrant, 420 Fernandez? Is that why you're saying that? I'm assuming you're a migrant. Big dog vet. Exactly. More taxes, more I get paid. So I'm assuming you're a migrant, for 420 Fernandez. Are you implying that you are a migrant, 420 Fernandez? I'm assuming you're implying you're a migrant. So the more taxes that you get, or you're an immigration worker. Who are you? Like, what do you do during the day or at night? 420 Fernandez. What do you do besides smoke weed? Obviously you got something, obviously either smoke weed or sell weed. I'm assuming by your name, or you smoke weed. But either way, 420 Fernandez. Hold on. The Dodge potholes, I'll read that in a second. Give me a minute. There's a lot of potholes up here because the city won't fix it. But they got enough money to still, to this very day, because we're a sanctuary city, they still got motherfucking Venezuelans in our fucking Marine base. Why? And then I went, that's crazy. I went to that address like last night, real quick, and just scoped it out. I was at that address last night that buddy gave me from the fucking, Marine base. It's like a rundown ass fucking old fucking factory building. Like that building on Elston Avenue at 1308 Elston Avenue. That building is a million times nicer than that address on Halstead that the guy gave me. And supposedly that's supposed to be, I think, like an all-male, I'm assuming, immigration shelter. But what I want to know is, where's the all-female immigration shelter? They got an all-male one. Is there an all-female one somewhere in Chicago? So it's supposed to be mixed. That address the guy gave me in the live, I think I posted it in the comments, but that address that buddy gave me, and 420 Fernandez, did you answer my question? How do you get more money by more taxes people pay? So you're saying if, what do you call it? So you're saying if, whatchamacallit? Pretty much what you're saying is, if Trump gets rid of property tax and taxes if you make under $150,000 a year, you're saying you're going to make less money because you're going to be, oh, okay, now let's see, you commented, nope, born in Woodland, California, Hills, okay, or Woodland Hills, California. Anonymous 13. Why are you such a Trumper? Okay, I'll get to that in a second. Let me read your second comment. People shouldn't be driving around if they're doing anything constructive. Anonymous 13. Why are you so jealous? You must be homeless yourself. No, actually, I'm not homeless. I choose to live in a van down by the river. It's quite nice, my van. I got a toilet, a shower, a heated shower. I got AC in my van. I got solar panels on the top. And it's not that bad living in a van down by the river. You know, you can play video games all day on your spare time. It's really not bad living in a van down by the river. But trust me, I'm a motivational speaker on some days, and you don't want to live in a van down by the river. Anyways, alright, so why do I like Trump so much? Because he wants to do things to help people, like get rid of taxing people that make under $150,000 a year. He wants to end property taxes. He created the Gulf of America, which is pretty badass, and I never wanted to go to Gulf of Mexico, but now that it's the Gulf of America, I really would like to go there and visit it someday. That's badass that we got the Gulf of America. Continuing on. All right. The other reasons I like Trump is because he doesn't act like a fake president. Like, he actually acts like a normal person. He does unscripted interviews, unlike Joe Biden, who didn't do a single interview that wasn't pre-scripted. And all he had to do, all that motherfucker had to do was read his answers off the teleprompter, and he couldn't even fucking do that right. Half the executive orders that Jagoff signed were with auto pen. He didn't even sign it with a real pen. That's another thing I like about Trump. He'll have, before he signs any executive order, he has his people thoroughly explain everything that's in the bill. He then reads the bill himself. Then after he does that, he then signs it on live television and then holds it up so you can zoom in with your camera and read everything that's in the bill that he just signed, or then you can also proceed to find it on the internet, what's in the bill that he signed. Do I need to go on? Do you want more reasons why I like Trump so much? He's got a badass tower in our city called Trump Tower, and it's right on the lakefront, and it's a very big, beautiful tower. And did you also know this? Trump Tower in Chicago was actually supposed to be taller than the Sears Tower, but whoever the mayor was at the time of Trump building it, they wouldn't let him build the person that, I think it was Daley, or it was the mayor after Daley. I don't remember which one. I think it was the mayor after Daley. Here, hold on, let's look it up real quick. I'll let you know right now. Hang on. Who was the mayor of the city of Chicago when Trump Tower was built? I'm going off Project A. Let's go back to Project 89, whatever it is. Hang on. Daily, you're expired. Trump International Hotel. Let's try this a little different. What year did Trump Tower start construction in Chicago, Illinois? Because that last one was giving me answers about New York and shit. So, 2020... No, that can't be right. No, it was topped out and construction was completed. So, the construction was completed in 2008. I want to know when construction started. So it was, okay, I don't need to know when it was complete. Oh, design begins in the year 2000. Construction begins 2005. So now let's go back and re-ask that. Who was the mayor in Chicago in the year 2005? Oh, Richard M. Daley was the mayor. Man, why did you cock block Trump, Daley? I like you, kinda. You were a good mayor, Daley. Why the fuck did you cock block President Trump's tower from being taller than the Sears Tower? That makes me a little mad at you, Mayor Daley. But you should run for mayor again if you're still alive. I don't even know if you're still alive. I mean, you probably are. You're not that old. I mean, you're old, but I don't think you're, like, dead, almost dead point old. So pretty much Daley cock-blocked President Trump from, he cock-blocked President Trump from, what do you call it, making his tower taller than the Sears Tower, which I don't know why he would cock-block him on that. Let's see if there's any information about it. And anyone, again, that is afraid that more people are watching right now, I'll get to the comments in a second, but I want to know what the main, besides what I said in the beginning of the video, for those of you that missed it and will have to wait till the video is no longer live and I end it, and then you can watch it from the beginning. Pretty much what the title of the video is, I addressed it within the first 5 minutes of this live stream, so that's why we're moving on to other stuff than what the live stream was originally about. But for all, it's about a broader picture of what are you all afraid of Trump. Like, those of you that want to be like that pussy-ass fucking cupcake Rosie O'Donnell, that self-deported herself to Ireland. Bye-bye, Rosie O'Donnell. We don't need you here. We don't want you here. And they're, oh my God, these potholes are horrible right up here under this bridge. Oh my God, these potholes are vicious. Oh my God, look at that one right there. You see it? Right there. Look how vicious that shit is. That's just like fucking a 2-foot deep crater. So is this one right up here. Oh my God, these are horrible up here. Look at that one. They can pay all this money for these migrants, but they can't fix all this shit. Crazy. Oh, here's a good one. Check this one out. As I fall into the one on the right, there's no avoiding it. There it is. Oh, there it is. Oh. Okay. That's actually a good safety feature. I forgot to put my car in park a few times. Look how deep that shit is. Hold on. Here, I'm getting my roller out, my depth measuring stick. See how deep that shit is. I would say that's about, the rubber is about an inch. I'd say it's about 2.5 inches to 3 inches deep. And look at this sharp thing. This is the only direction you could go in right here. That shit's definitely popping your tire. And possibly doing thousands of hours of damage in your suspension. Well, not thousands, but many, many hours of damage to your fucking suspension. That giant ass pothole. Can't see the comments. Hang on, sorry. I'm avoiding potholes. The comments are gonna have to hold on. I will read everyone's comment. I haven't read yet, by the way. So please, those of you in the comment section watching right now, I want you to tell me, what are you so afraid of that Trump won the presidency? Why do you feel the need so afraid right now? Unless you're an NGO that's lining his pockets with fucking probably hundreds of thousands of dollars by human trafficking people from Venezuela and human trafficking people from other countries, including China and wherever else they're coming from. All you're doing is contributing to human trafficking. That's all you're doing by approving of what Joe Biden did with these people over the fucking course of his presidency. Like, you just pretty much support human trafficking. You know what's crazy? I haven't heard a lot about P. Diddy lately, but as I'm talking about other subjects, please comment and I will address it. Please comment, what are you so afraid of? What do you have reason to be afraid of, what do you call it? What do you have to be afraid of that President Trump won the presidency and you feel that the need, that you're so terrified you gotta leave the country? Will you please elaborate on that? I would love to know, because I just want to know what you're thinking in your head on why you feel that it is like that bitch Rosie O'Donnell. I'm glad that bitch left. Well, here, let's look up what's... I thought Rosie O'Donnell was from Roseanne at first, but that's Roseanne Barr, not Rosie O'Donnell. I want to look up... Hold on. What TV shows and movies was Rosie O'Donnell in? I know Snow White was one of them. The Rosie Show. Oh, she was in the Flintstones with John Goodman. A League of Their Own, The Rosie O'Donnell Show. I don't know if these are some of her older movies. Smile, Now and Then. I don't know if these are her movies. Exit to Exit. Paris the Spy. She wasn't even anything good. This bitch hasn't been in one movie I've ever seen, including fucking Snow White. Bro, turn! You could have turned! Stupid, look at this stupid electric bus. And I can only imagine the problems that those buses gotta have, like just with my wipers, with the delay. Imagine, like, just that same problem, but on an electric vehicle with your driving dynamics. Just imagine them exact same problems. That's why if a Tesla gets hit, it's pretty much totaled. Tesla will not sell body parts to people, so you gotta go to a junkyard, which junkyards don't even have a lot of fucking Tesla parts. Well, look at that nice old fucking, I think that was a Lincoln, maybe? I'm not sure. But please, again, what this video is about, and I will answer your questions as soon as I get a chance to read them, which will be before the video ends. See, that person, I got to upgrade to a camper, man. My van down by the river ain't got shit on that camper. I mean, don't get me wrong, I got solar panels on the roof and shit, but that looks a little bit more roomy. And there's definitely somebody living in there because at night they got the curtains closed. I passed there several times. Let's see if we can pull up some new shit. So please address your fears to me, and when I start reading all the comments, I will address your answer of why you feel the need to be so afraid that you gotta leave America because Trump won. Which we're lucky he did, because if he didn't, we'd be in World War III right now. And Kamala Harris would have just kept giving our money away to Ukraine, interest-free. Oh, here. This is going to be informative for y'all.
Portable landline attachment.
And this is straight from the source. So this isn't like somebody else made it off the source. This is directly from the source, which you're about to watch. Hopefully. I think it is.
JJ.
On Doge and the fraud claims, Elon Musk in the Oval yesterday gave us some information on that. We're just wondering if there's some proof, evidence. Is the White House willing to share evidence of those fraud claims, or can Elon Musk come to the briefing room and share material evidence of what he's talking about?
Sure, I would love for Elon Musk to come to the briefing room. That's why we had him go to the Oval Office yesterday, where I think he provided great answers.
I'm sure Elon Musk will be more than willing to go where the press secretary, whatever her name is, the press secretary, Trump's press secretary, I'm sure Elon Musk would be more than happy to go there and get in the same position that woman's in and answer the questions. Continuing on.
In layman's terms, speaking common sense to all of you in the media, but also to Americans at home, but I would say especially to all of you in the media, because I think it's a real fallacy that there's this alleged lack of transparency when it comes to Doge. President Trump and Elon Musk have been
Side note, Doge has been extremely transparent. Extremely transparent. Look at how transparent Joe Biden was. Look at how transparent Obama was. They weren't transparent at all. Fucking Obama deported more people than Trump has between his first term and second term than fucking Obama. Obama deported more people than Trump. But y'all didn't give fucking Obama jack shit about that, so why are you going in about Trump doing it? What, because he's being truthful and he's telling people what he's doing compared to Obama that just did it secretively? And I didn't find Obama did that until like recently. Like recently as in a month ago. Continuing on.
incredibly transparent on.
Oh, one other thing. Keep commenting what you all, if there's anyone watching right now that feels that they have to be so afraid that they got to leave the country because Trump won. Please explain what you have to be afraid of, and I'll answer
Doge
it.
is doing. There is an X account with the Doge handle. They are tweeting out what they are doing on a daily basis.
Yes,
they have
they
a
are.
website where they are posting the receipts of the contracts that they are reviewing and the payments that they have stopped from going out the door. The secretaries of our departments have stopped from going out the door. And I would also say that before it was Elon Musk making our government efficient and accountable, it was some unnamed bureaucrat that none of you knew. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. He's also now one of the most highly scrutinized men in the world alongside President Trump because of what he's doing and the access that he is allowing. So there's great transparency. As for the actual receipts, we are happy to provide them, and I actually brought some today because all of you know I love to bring the receipts.
Shit, if that was Obama's clown, or not Obama's, if that was, what's his face? If that was, Let's Go Brandon Joe Biden, number one, or Let's Go Brandon number one, Joe Biden, his press secretary would have spun it around and said, we'll circle back to your question. Next. How is Trump not being transparent? Fucking Joe Biden was not transparent at all. Fucking Trump's being completely transparent about everything that's happening.
We have contracts upon contracts that we can send and provide this information to you. Let me be very clear. We are not trying to hide anything. We have been incredibly transparent and we will continue to be. These are screenshots of contracts that Doge found across our government. This is a DI contract $36,000 for U.S. citizenship and immigration services. That is against the president's policies and his America First agenda. This is a $3.4 million contract, a Council for Inclusive Innovation at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, Department of Commerce, another DEI contract that DOJ identified. I can continue to go through these. Oh, I love this one, $57,000 for climate change in Sri Lanka. What is this doing to continue?
Why are we paying that much money for climate change in Sri Lanka? Like, why? Again, like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Why in the fucking hell would we be doing that in Sri Lanka? Why? What does that do to help America? Nothing.
The interests of the American people. Absolutely nothing. These are the line items across the federal government that DOJ is identifying daily. They're moving very fast. There's a lot of paper that we can show you, but we're happy to do it. This administration has been more than transparent about what DOJ is doing. And here's one of their tweets that they posted about the mine. I believe this is in Pennsylvania, where the federal employee retirement system is being processed. Did anybody know this was even happening in our country before Elon Musk talked about it in the Oval Office yesterday? A lot of Americans didn't. So we are providing transparency and accessibility on a daily
unlike that clown-ass bitch that Joe Biden had.
Basis when it comes to DOJ. And I also have a DOJ daily report, if anybody would like it, on all of the things that they are identifying and finding. We're happy to provide this information to you. We're talking about it every single day.
Are all those things you just mentioned fraud, or are they waste, or are they just contrary to the president's policies?
I would argue that all of these things are fraudulent, they are wasteful, and they are an abuse of the American taxpayer's dollar. This is not what the government should be spending money on. It's contrary to the president's priorities and agenda. And again, we can continue to provide you the receipts for all of the fraud, waste, and abuse. And if anybody in here wants to argue that the federal government fraudulent in some capacity, be my guest, because I think the American people watching at home would beg to differ. Mary.
I agree.
More on the judges. Does the White House believe the judges have the authority to issue these nationwide injunctions?
We believe that the injunctions that have been issued by these judges have no basis in the law and have no grounds, and we will, again, as the president said very clearly yesterday, comply with these orders, but it is the administration's position that we will ultimately be vindicated, and the president's executive actions that he took were completely within the law, they were constitutional, and we look forward to the day where he can continue to implement his agenda. And I would just add, it's our view that this is the continuation of the weaponization of justice that we have seen against President Trump. He fought it for 2 years on the campaign trail. It won't stop him now. Brian.
Yes. I want to go back to DOJ just for a second. Earlier, the subcommittee headed by Chairman Marjorie Taylor Greene, her and her staff discovered $2.7 trillion in improper payments to Medicare, Medicaid.
At this point, you can just listen.
Overseas to people who should not have gotten it. Some of this room might have missed that press conference. Can you elaborate on what the president is thinking at this point?
Well, again, that's another example. There's a very long list of the fraud, waste, and abuse that DOJ is identifying on a daily basis. Elon Musk also talked about yesterday about Social Security payments that are going out the door for people who are no longer with us, unfortunately. I would say that is certainly fraud. There's also a lot of contracts they've identified that, just as a hypothetical example, are $1 million, but only 500,000 went out the door. So where's the rest of that cash? And so that's the thing. Those are the things that DOJ is working on every single day. And I would just remind everybody in this room, this is what President Trump campaigned on doing. He's delivering on a promise that 77 million people elected him to do. James.
Thank you very much, Caroline. Two foreign policy questions, if I may.
Sure.
First, a statement that was released after this morning's phone calls identified Mr. Witkoff as the special envoy who will be part of the delegation that undertakes to resolve the Russia-Ukraine war. I had thought that that individual was General Kellogg, and so can you clear that up?
Sure, I'd be happy to. As you mentioned, the president, in his truth, following the phone call with Vladimir Putin, said that he has asked Secretary of State Rubio, the director of the CIA, John Ratcliffe, our national security advisor here at the White House, Michael Watts, and Steve Witkoff to lead the negotiations. As for General Kellogg, he remains a critical part of this team in this effort. He's played a tremendous role in getting the negotiations to this point, and he's very much still part of the Trump administration.
The other subject is Iran. I took note of President Trump's comments in his Super Bowl interview with our colleague Bret Baier to the effect that he wants to do a deal with Iran. However, that interview appeared after the supreme leader of Iran, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, had already ruled out any additional negotiations with the United States. So kind of a two-part question. A, what gives the president any confidence that Iran will come to the table?
Fuck
Iran. And B, more fundamentally, why is the president interested in doing a deal with Iran instead of doing everything he can, perhaps short of U.S. military intervention, to try and hasten the end of what many of his own supporters regard as an evil regime?
I would say Iran's a pretty evil regime. We're going to be ending this shortly. I think I found where the Haitians are living in the Haitian immigration building, so I can't show where I'm at. But what I was going to say is, please keep hunting what you're all so afraid of about Trump winning the presidency before this is over. What they're talking about.
Well, the president has made it very clear that he will never allow Iran to have nuclear capabilities. That is a red line that he has drawn, and he will not allow that to happen. But you asked why President Trump wants to make a deal. I would remind you, he's the master of the art of the deal. He is America's deal maker in chief. He leads from a position of securing peace through strength. And I think time
and not only that, we got the cards.
In the president being able to negotiate successful deals with our partners, our adversaries all around this world. The release of Mark Fogel just last night is something that I think speaks to the president's deal-making ability. This is something that the Biden administration allegedly tried to do for 3.5 years. I think you all should go back and ask some of those Biden administration officials what they even tried to do and why were they successful. Because for 3.5 years, Mark Fogel sat in a Russian prison, and it took President Trump 3 weeks to get him back on American soil. There's nobody better at making deals than Donald Trump. Phil Legman.
Thank you. Two foreign policy questions. Ukrainian President Zelensky has said after the war that he wants NATO membership for nuclear weapons. We heard Defense Secretary Hegseth say that NATO membership was unrealistic. What's the president's view on the other option, on a nuclear Ukraine?
I have not talked to President Trump about Ukraine's NATO membership or their nuclear capabilities. I would leave it to him to discuss. But I will tell you again that Secretary Rubio and also the Vice President, J.D. Vance, will be meeting directly with President Zelensky in Munich on Friday, and I'm sure they will provide a readout of that conversation and that discussion.
And then the second question, given that this administration has called on Europe to take more responsibility for their own defense, I'm wondering, will the EU or any other European nation other than Ukraine be involved in these peace talks?
I don't have any European nations who are involved currently to read out for you. Certainly, the president has employed a very strong team or deployed a very strong team to continue these negotiations. And the fact that he was on the phone with both President Putin and President Zelensky today shows that he's very much involved in this effort as well.
And then just a follow-up, I guess.
Sure.
Should we expect the president to negotiate in person with Zelensky and Putin?
I don't have anything to read out on that for you today. Maggie, good to see you.
Thanks for the question. You talked about the transparency with Doge and Elon Musk's press availability yesterday. There is a conflict of interest law in place that says that people who have personal interests can't interact with government entities that
He doesn't have any
Has
personal
President Trump
interest.
signed a
No,
waiver
bitch.
for Elon Musk? Does such a thing exist? If it does, will you guys release it in the interest of transparency that he's committed to?
I have not seen the law that you are referring to. What I can tell you is that Elon Musk, as I've confirmed before, is a special government employee. He is filing the proper financial disclosure, and he is complying with all applicable federal laws. As you also heard Elon address this directly yesterday in the alleged conflict of interest, and he said everything he's doing is very public, and if you all perceive a conflict of interest, you're welcome to bring that up. And as the president said, if he feels like Elon is engaging in something that's a conflict of interest, he will tell Elon not to do that. And Elon also said yesterday that before he moves forward with anything, he consults with the President of the United States. So we're very confident with the ethics and the guardrails that have been put in place here. Caitlin.
Thanks, Caroline. I have a few things for you, but on the commitment by President Trump, he said that he and President Putin agreed to visit each other's respective nations. Are there any preconditions that President Trump has that President Putin must do before he goes and meets with him, withdrawing some forces, withdrawing all forces, anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of. That doesn't mean they don't exist, but I was just talking with the president in our national security team. I wasn't made aware of any conditions, but if they exist, I'm happy to provide those.
And on the president himself, he styles himself as this master negotiator. He is now deploying these negotiations, saying that they start immediately. We did hear from the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, today saying that NATO membership is not realistic for Ukraine and neither is returning to pre-2014 borders. Aren't they giving away bargaining chips before these negotiations have even started?
Again, I haven't talked to the president about Ukraine's NATO membership, and he appointed several individuals to negotiate on his behalf. He's directly involved in these negotiations as well. And I'm sure if you ask him that question in the near future, when you're able to, he'll give you an answer. I just don't want to get ahead of him on it.
These all-in-one fancy financing pants by Credit Karma are what?
Running no ads. Man, I'm fucking sick. Oh, here's Trump talking.
Tremendous numbers. I think,
58 minutes ago.
first of all, many companies are now moving into the United States and coming back. Some of them left us from many years ago, decades ago, and they're all coming back. We have probably identified maybe $4 trillion worth of companies moving back or going to move back. Many of them have announced it's going to be tremendous jobs, high-paying jobs too. And you probably know the chip business, not because of the CHIPS Act, which is a disaster. You gave billions of dollars to companies that already have many billions of dollars. They said thank you very much. It was no incentive for them to use it. But what is good is the tariffs will make it so that they want to come back. That's why they're coming back. I think they're coming back because of the election that took place on November 5th and because of the fact that they have to come back because the tariffs are forcing them to come back. And remember, there are no tariffs if you build here, and that's a big factor. So we have record numbers. Howard was just telling me the numbers that we're talking about are crazy, beyond anybody's wildest expectation. So they'll be doing a lot of building, all sorts of businesses, including the basics of automobiles. We have, as you know, Honda is coming in with a massive plant to Indiana, but there are many plants that are happening, and literally some are started already. General Motors is already redoing plants that were half abandoned, or they have plants that weren't being fully utilized. They're going to be, they and others are going to be making parts and other things in those plants, so that it's one-stop shopping finally. It's ridiculous. You had to go to Mexico, you had to go to Canada, the car went all over the place. It was like, I don't know how that would have worked, but that's the way it sort of ended up. We had a deal, and we have a deal, which is fine, but people took advantage of the deal. They cheated. And when you cheat, the deals are unfortunate. But now what's happening is the numbers are beyond our wildest expectations. Now, having to do with
Thank you,
cutting,
President Trump.
we've done a lot of cutting from people, ideally the people that aren't doing the job. In many cases, people weren't attending jobs. In many cases, people didn't exist. They had on the government rolls people that don't even exist. But of the ones that did exist, as you know, many didn't come to work. Many had no intention of coming to work.
True that.
Many were paid and working someplace else. There were lots of bad.
A lot of them just wanted to take our tax money and dress in them whack-tax clothes and use our tax money and not have to work. I experienced that firsthand.
But they're being weeded out, and I think we're probably ahead of schedule on that. And to me, something that was just terrible is the contracts that we're finding, the fraudulent.
And Costa Rica was also telling me the same shit. He's like, the Venezuelans, he told me pretty much that Costa Rican guy is like, yeah, the Venezuelans, what did he say? He said, like, if you're not Venezuelan, you got the blues. You're gonna get blues. You're gonna get the blues if you're not Venezuelan. He's like, I got the blues because I'm not Venezuelan, the Costa Rican guy. But to make a long story short, even he was saying the same shit. He's like, the Venezuelans are like, I don't want to work. I'm getting everything for free. Why the hell would I want to work? I'm being taken care of by the American tax dollars. I'm being taken care of by the Americans. Why the hell do I need to work? Well, why can't we give that an American that same mentality of the motherfucking Venezuelan that got that mentality?
Contracts that we're finding where millions and millions of dollars and even billions of dollars in some cases were given out. And I think we'll start with that. I'd like to start with Doug Burgum, Secretary of the Interior. He told us about a couple of contracts that we have now found. When he got there, they saw this with Chris and everybody, and they couldn't believe it. Doug, could you just relate what you told us a little while ago?
No, happy to, Mr. President. There's a federal consulting group, which was a group inside of Interior, but it was managing contracts from many different agencies that flowed through here. One of those contracts was to do surveys of individuals, $830 million for surveys. And so part of the question was, hey, could we actually see the surveys? And then the surveys came back, and the survey was like 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper with 10 questions that anyone's child in junior high could have put together, or AI could have done for free. $830 million. So that's one that we've stopped. And that contract was going out after you were inaugurated, sir. So it was
so
jumping.
It's a fraud.
Yeah.
It's a fraud. But we've had many fraudulent contracts that were caught by the work that Elon and his people are doing, and working with our people. It's been brought to light the fraud. Not just waste and abuse, the fraud has been incredible. You mentioned one, Madam Secretary.
Well, yes, sir. Well, let me just add to that, and thank you. We just had a wonderful cabinet meeting, all aligned on certainly the effort to realign the government. But even at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, we've canceled a $300,000 contract educating on food justice for queer and transgender farmers in San Francisco. A similar contract we canceled in New York, again, educating transgender and queer farmers on food justice and food equality. I'm not even sure what that means, but apparently the last administration wanted to put our taxpayer dollars towards that. We canceled a $600,000 contract out of Louisiana that was studying the menstrual cycles of transgender men, a $600,000 contract. We canceled another contract out of a university in the middle of the country that focused on getting more diversity, equity, and inclusion into our pest management industry. Again, these are nonsensical. It makes zero sense to use taxpayer dollars to fund these. I know these are just a few examples of the hundreds and hundreds that we have found.
Well, a clear case of fraud was with the Small Business Administration, where they were handing out loans, $330 million worth of loans to people under the age of 11. I think the youngest, Kelly, was a 9-month-old who got a $100,000 loan. That's a very precocious baby we're talking about here.
For tackling the fraud, waste, and abuse in the agency, we've seen
hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud go unprosecuted, so we're taking that on. We have a zero tolerance policy for fraud, and we continue to crack down on it and make sure people are held accountable.
And you have a lot of that. You've found far too much of it. It's a pure fraud. We like to use the words waste and abuse because they sort of sound good, but many of these things are pure fraud. Now, there was a contract that you've heard about where Stacey Abrams got $2 billion just before we took over, and it was a rush to get her the money, and that was environmental, and nobody knows what she was doing. But $2 billion. If you got $2 million, that's a lot. If you got 200,000, that's a lot. But this was $2 billion was given. Lee, do you want to talk about that? And the other one that was even worse?
EPA has now canceled over $22 billion worth of contracts. $2 billion going to this NGO that Stacey Abrams was tied to. They received only $100 in 2023. And then the Biden administration gave them $2 billion. The director of the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund saw his former employer get $5 billion. So $20 billion went to just 8 NGOs, and they're all pass-throughs. And then they were giving it to other entities, many of them were pass-throughs. And what you have is all these extra middlemen, they're taking their cut. And the taxpayer ends up getting screwed. They're losing out on all this hard-earned money. They can't afford to have the federal government waste. The partnership with Doge and Elon Musk has been incredible at EPA. Their team is very talented. We wouldn't have been able to do it without them. And of course, this mandate from President Trump to make sure that we identify every last penny, whether we're saving $50,000, $5 million, or $22 billion. We will not rest until every last penny is saved. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to do this for the American public.
Thank you. Great job you're doing. So we have a lot of that. We're getting down to a point we think probably over the next 2 or 3 months we'll be pretty much satisfied with the people that are working hard and want to be members of the administration and our country, really. And they're doing a lot of good people. We have a lot of great people. We want to keep the good ones, and we want to get rid of the ones that don't exist, and we want to get rid of the ones that do exist but don't work. And we have quite a few of them. Would anybody else like to say something before we take some questions from the press, please? Doug Collins.
Yeah, just I think one thing that you've always told me is take care of veterans, and that's what we're doing at the VA. And one of the things is you also have to know who your boys are. You have to know the very facts of who you are. We're 470,000 roughly when we started this, larger than the active duty Army. When you think about that in the perspective, but however, this is an interesting point. When I first got there and we started looking at this, how you take care of people, we didn't have an HR system that could actually give us a rundown on who actually was working where. That we've had to work with that, working with our VA employees who are those liaisons. We've been able to put together an organizational chart, which we can start looking at that. But the interesting part about it is about taking care of veterans, and what you've told me to do is how do we get the people in the right places. And I think when we look at this, GAO has told us we were high risk for years. The previous administration put literally tens of billions of dollars and tens of thousand employees over the last 4 years, and we saw our statistics basically stay the same or go down. Backlogs went up. Maybe the question is not money and employees anymore. Maybe it's the organization and how we effectively deliver for the American people. That's what we're going to do.
And one thing I want to add to it, it is not necessarily a very popular thing to do. You're talking about employment, you're talking about people and the lives of people, and yet I think the American public understands we're trying to save our country and make our country great again. I mean, you could say it, but we're trying to save our country from this extraordinary thing that was happening. What they were doing to our country was just a horrible thing. And I have no idea how it plays out in the public. I guess you see poll numbers that are very good numbers, but I don't know what that means long term. But it's something that has to be done. If we don't do it, we're not going to have much of a country left, so we have to do it. So we're doing things that I think a lot of presidents wouldn't be inclined to do, but we're doing it to
he's the only one
really,
that's got
I
the
don't want
balls
to
to do
use cliche. I don't want to say we're doing it to make America great again because I say that on the campaign trail, but there's really no other words that could express it better than that. We're doing it to help our country, and our country was riddled with fat, like
9 miles away.
Alright, we're going to be sneaking up on this immigration shelter here in a minute. It's not going to be on a live
at the same time we're going to be bringing in millions of very good, high-paying jobs.
It's not going to be on the live stream because it'll be posted at a later date, but we got to sneak in this possibly immigration shelter for the Haitians. I think I found out where the Haitians are staying, so we're going to try to find where the Haitians are living next. And I think this is the warehouse.
We'll be announcing cars very shortly, and we already announced steel, as you know, and aluminum. We'll be announcing pharmaceuticals at some point in the not too distant, because we have to have pharmaceuticals. We don't make pharmaceuticals anymore in our country.
I know,
And
that's
if we have
fucked up.
problems like wars or anything else, we need steel, we need pharmaceuticals, we need aluminum, we need a lot of these things that we sort of don't make anymore. And yet,
Okay, let me read these comments real quick. Oh, Shivity. Hey, what's up, Shivity? You're watching. Thanks, bud. See, you defended me. Thank you. Okay, I read that. Hey, what's up, big dog Nam Vet? Hey, man, can we get that interview with you in Vietnam, man? I know it's probably hard to talk about, but hey, anyone that watches this while it's live or after it's live, I got a person on here that's they're called Big Dog Nam Vet, and he was in Vietnam. I tried asking him, but would you guys like to see an interview with a true Vietnam vet? He said it's hard to talk about because I'm sure he saw fucked up shit there, but I would love to get an interview with him. Maybe if you all comment that, he might want to do an interview with me. I think that'd be a badass interview. And I know it's probably hard to talk about if you're still watching, but that'd be cool. I'm sure a lot of people would like to hear your story. Anonymous 13. Okay, wait, where did we leave off at? Anonymous 13, right? Okay, I answered that one. Oh, here's the next one. You just see 3 things that don't affect you. Okay, I can say more. I can continue. I'll continue after I'm done trying to sneak into this Haitian immigration building. You just said 6 things that don't affect you. Yeah, they do. How does fucking paying property taxes not affect you? Just because I live in a van down by the river, I would be able to live in an apartment if I didn't have to fucking pay, or I would be able to possibly get a loan on a house or something like that if I didn't have to pay property taxes. Yeah, that actually does affect me directly. If I wasn't having to pay property taxes, maybe I could get a loan from a bank and be able to afford a house with a huge loan. I'd probably be able to afford a house and not have to live in a van down by the river. So yeah, you're wrong, Anonymous 13. That does affect me. So you like romper room type procedures. I don't know what you're talking about. Then LOL who said OE. I don't know, okay. Anonymous 13 came back. Unfortunately, it sounds like you live with sheltered life with your boyfriend. No, I'm actually married. I have a wife, and I'm not a homosexual. And I think that shit is sick and disgusting. A man doing another man in a butt is some sick shit. Anonymous 13, sounds like your favorite Donald Trump position is on your knees. No, actually, my favorite Donald Trump position is the Trump dance where he's doing the arm dance. I like that. He's got a nice little dance. Anonymous 13, you must be the bottom in your relationship. No, actually, I'm not. Anonymous 13, your way of thinking wants me to leave this country. Well, hey, Anonymous 13, if my way of thinking makes you want to leave this country, you know, there's an interesting thing you could do. You might even be able to leave for free. You know that CCCP app that Joe Biden created to let all the illegals enter our country through the app on their phone? So what Trump did was he flipped it around. He made it so if you self-deport now, instead of them having to come find you to deport you, if you self-deport, you'll be able to enter the U.S. back the proper way you should enter it and be a U.S. citizen and come for the American dream. So you're actually wrong on, where'd I leave off at? The way of your thinking wants me to leave this country. Anonymous 13, if you support Kamala Harris, if you support Joe Biden, you should just leave the country based on those reasons. Continuing on. Hershey Ramos said, surprised this dude hasn't, I don't do drugs. You can't overdose off weed. I'm surprised you haven't. Continuing on. Hold on, I'm getting these comments. I just saw one though. I gotta. Oops, no, we're not trying to end it yet. Hold on, where did I leave off at? I get to your comments in a minute. Hang on, I'm trying to read everybody's. Henry Ramos Dunn said, bro, can't even say Sri Lanka. Yes, I can say Sri Lanka. The reason I couldn't say it was because I was avoiding these potholes that this fucking mayor can't fix, but he could pay for all these money with immigrants. He can't say my name either. Anonymous 13? How can I not say your name, Anonymous 13? I just said Anonymous 13 with no problem, so what the fuck you talking about? This is what happens when you get a 6th grade education. No, actually I got my GED, got hit by a semi-truck, so I do have a slight injury, but I do go based off facts. Anonymous 13, I think he's busy giving oral now. No, I'm actually not giving oral. I only give oral to females, not men. I think you would know about giving oral to males, guy, and getting on your knees. Then we got Danny Haas. Yeah, I know, I need to. It's hard to do things when you're handicapped and you're in a lot of pain 24/7. This is why he doesn't read comments. I do read comments. I'm reading all the comments right now. I always read the comments at the end. What the fuck you talking about, Anonymous 13? You must be new to the channel. Dana Haas. Why are you cursing? Yeah, I should do less cursing. You're right. I'm sorry, Dana Haas. Just some of those things get me so angry and flustered. But you are right. Thank you for your comment. Anonymous 13. No. Actually, when I hit that... So basically here, Anonymous 13 said he drives around looking for potholes, complains when he drives in one. Actually, when you saw me fall in the pothole, that's because it's that where you're talking about in that point of the video, it's literally potholes to potholes from curb to curb, fucking from the beginning of the bridge to the end of the bridge. I don't drive around trying to find potholes to purposely hit. There's no avoiding it. There was literally no avoiding any of those fucking potholes because it was fucking the length of the bridge from curb to curb. You could try all you want, but you're gonna fall in some of them. That's how bad it is. Obviously, you're not from Chicago. Shit, it's almost like the streets in Afghanistan would probably be better than here. I mean, I'm sure they're not. I'm just making a joke, but... Dan Haas. Twersking? No, I don't twerk. I think you're twerking. He's sick because he swallows too much. No, I'm sick because a little kid that goes to school ended up getting somebody else sick. What other crazy shit they brought home. And then I'm sick from it. There's a bunch of bike faggots. Anonymous 13. No, that's not why I'm sick. Again, I'm sick because what I just said. Dustin Blaine, you tweaking. What am I tweaking about? Please elaborate. Hey, Shivity Smolsky. Yeah, I know. I thought he was tweaking too. Let's see. Shivity Smolsky. Dustin Blaze. Why are you saying that about my homie? Thank you for standing up for me, Shivity. I appreciate it. Anonymous 13. See, now Trump won't let you get your transmenstrual check. Bro, What the fuck are you talking about? I was born with a penis. I'm a male, and I don't approve of that sick fucking women and men sport. I'm sorry, men playing in women's sports should not be allowed. A man's body is just simply not built the same as a woman. It's more likely a man will break a woman's bone, especially playing football or something like that, any tackling type sport. And I believe men are men and women are women, hence Archie Bunker. When women, or how does that song go in the beginning? The Archie Bunker song, how do they say? When boys were when men were men and women were blah. When men were men and women were women, those were the days. That's from Archie Bunker. Anonymous 13. See, now Trump won't let you. Okay, get out of here with that whack ass shit. Shivity, Anonymous 13. Shivity, you must have the strap on. No. Shivity is just, okay, I'm not even going to skip that goofy shit. Shivity Smosky. Oh, did any of you answer? So we must have no one on the channel. Anonymous 13. Why does Johnny send 7-year-old Shivity to answer questions? He's not 7 years old. He's actually 21. Shivity is actually about 21, so I don't know what you're talking about. Trixie Prospects. I don't do drugs, let my ass off. Trixie, with your name, you sound like you take a lot of acid, so I would shut up with your comment. I don't do drugs. I smoke weed, and weed is not a drug. Alright, we gotta wrap this up. I read everyone's comment. As promised, like, subscribe, share. If you're watching this after it's live, please. If anyone comes across this video that feels the need, they are so afraid that, like that bitch Rosie O'Donnell, that they gotta leave the country, please do, because we don't need you here any longer ruining our country. Like, subscribe, share, hit thumbs up. And if you want to donate, y'all know my Cash App, because I'm not making shit from this, and I'm just doing it to get real news out there and show first-hand accounts, something CNN won't do, the fake news. Alright, cool. So, and make sure you turn on your notification bell, too. So like, subscribe, share, hit thumbs up. Thanks for watching, yo. We'll be back later.